Tranquil Tales. The story of creation. In the beginning, God made the heavens and the earth, and while the earth was still unformed, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. Then God separated the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness night. And there was an evening and a morning, making the first day. And God said, "Let there be a sky, and let it divide the waters that are below from the waters that are above the sky." And it was done. And God called the sky the heavens. And there was an evening and a morning, making the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be brought together, and let the dry land appear." And it was done. And God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were brought together seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let plants and trees grow from the earth." And it was done. And plants and trees grew from the earth, each plant bringing forth its own kind of seed, and each tree its own kind of fruit. And God saw that it was good. And there was an evening and a morning, making the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the heavens to separate the night from the day. Let them be signs to mark the seasons, the days and the years. Let them be lights in the heavens to light the earth." And it was done. So God made the two great lights, the sun and the moon, the greater to rule the day, and the lesser to rule the night. God made the stars also, and placed them in the heavens to throw light upon the earth. And God saw that it was good. And there was an evening and a morning, making the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth many living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth and in the sky." And God made large sea monsters, and all kinds of living creatures, with which the waters abound, and all kinds of birds. And God saw that it was good. And he blessed them, saying, "Increase and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth." And there was an evening and a morning, making the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth all kinds of living creatures, cattle and creeping things and wild beasts." And it was done. So God made all the different kinds of wild beasts, and the cattle, and everything that crawls upon the ground. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let us make man like ourselves. Let him rule over the fish in the sea, the birds of the sky, the cattle, the wild beasts, and all the living things that crawl upon the ground." And God made man like himself. Like God he made him. He made them male and female. And God blessed them, and said to them, "Have children, increase, live all over the earth, and conquer it, rule over the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and over every living thing that crawls upon the ground. And God said, See, to you I give every plant which grows on all the earth, and every tree which bears fruit with its own kind of seed. It shall be food for you, and to every wild beast, and to every bird of the sky, and to everything that crawls on the earth and is alive. I give every green herb for food. And it was done. And when God saw everything that he had made, he saw that it was very good. And there was an evening and a morning, making the 6th day. And the heavens and the earth were finished, and all that there was in them. And on the 7th day, when God had finished the work which he had done, he rested from all his work, and God blessed the 7th day, and made it holy, for in it he rested from all the work which he had done. God's good gifts to man. At the time when God made earth and heaven, no trees or plants grew on the earth, for God had not yet sent the rain, and there was no man to till the soil, but a mist rose from the earth and watered the ground. Then God made man out of dust, taken from the ground, and breathed into him the breath of life, and man became a living being. And God planted a garden in Eden, far in the east, and out of the ground he made grow all kinds of trees that are pleasant to look at and good for food. Also the tree of life, and the tree that gives the knowledge of good and evil. Then God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to till it and to care for it. And God gave the man this command: You may eat all you wish from every tree of the garden, except from the tree that gives the knowledge of good and evil. From this you shall not eat, for if you eat from it, you shall surely die. Then God said, It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a companion for him. So out of the ground God made all the wild beasts and birds, and brought them to the man to see what he would name them. And whatever he called each living thing, that became his name. But for the man himself there was found no companion suited to him. Then God made the man fall into a deep sleep, and while he slept, he took one of his ribs and closed up its place with flesh. The rib which he had taken from the man, God made into a woman and brought her to the man. Then the man said, Because she was made from my body, she shall be called woman. The first disobedience. Now the serpent was more deceitful than any other animal that God had made, and it said to the woman, Has God really said, You shall not eat from any tree in the garden? The woman answered, We may eat of the fruit of all the trees in the garden, except the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden. For God has said, You shall not eat from it, nor shall you touch it, for if you do, you shall die. Then the serpent said to the woman, You shall not surely die, for God knows that as soon as you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will know what is good and what is evil." When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, beautiful to look at, and that it would make her wise, she took some of its fruit and ate it. Then she gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, so that they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made girdles for themselves. When they heard the sound of the footsteps of God, as he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day, the man and his wife hid from him among the trees of the garden. And God called to the man and said to him, "Where are you?" And he answered, "I heard the sound of thy footsteps in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, so I hid myself." God said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree from which I forbade you to eat?" The man answered, "The woman whom thou didst give to me, she gave me fruit from the tree, and I ate." God said to the woman, "What is this that you have done?" The woman replied, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." Then God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, you shall be hated more than all the beasts. You shall crawl on your belly and eat dust all your life. And men and serpents shall always be enemies. They shall bruise your head, and you shall wound them on the heel." To the woman he said, "I will greatly increase your trouble and your pain, and you shall be subject to your husband, and he shall rule over you." But to the man he said, "Because you have listened to your wife, and have eaten of the tree from which I forbade you to eat, as long as you live, you shall earn a living only by hard work. By hard work shall you raise food to eat, and you shall die and your body go back to the ground. For from dust you were made, and to dust you shall return." And God made garments of skins for the man and his wife, and clothed them. And he sent them out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground. Cain and his brother Abel. Adam named his wife Eve, because she was the mother of all living beings. She had 2 sons, Cain and Abel. Abel was a shepherd, but Cain was a farmer. One day Cain brought as an offering to God some fruit and grain that he had grown. Abel too brought some of the best animals of his flock and sacrificed their fat pieces to God. God was pleased with Abel and his offering, but Cain and his offering did not please him. This made Cain very angry, and his face showed it. So God said to Cain, "Why are you so angry, and why do you scowl? If you do what is right and good, will not your offering be accepted? But if you do wrong, sin crouches like a wild beast at the door, and the desire to sin will overcome you. But you should master it." Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let us go into the field." And while they were in the field, Cain struck his brother Abel and killed him. When God said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain answered, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? God said, What have you done? Hark, your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. Even now you are condemned by the very ground that has opened to receive your brother's blood from your hand. Whenever you till the ground, it shall no longer yield to you its strength. You shall be a tramp and a wanderer on the earth. Then Cain said to God, My punishment is more than I can bear. See, thou hast driven me out today from this land, and I shall no longer be able to worship thee. I shall become a tramp and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. But God said to him, If anyone kills you, he shall be punished sevenfold. So God placed a mark on Cain to keep anyone who found him from killing him. And Cain went out from God's presence and lived as a wanderer away from Eden. The end. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Good night, sleepyheads. Sweet dreams.